Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Good to have you back. It's been a couple of years,
A
hasn't it?
year, 1 year.
Was it 1 year?
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me very proudly last time that you'd given up smoking and you haven't actually started again.
2 years I've been giving up smoking.
Right.
Maybe a year and a half ago then.
Which has been probably a good thing for your voice.
Very good. It means I have one. Yeah.
Otherwise,
it was a case of sing or smoke. Just losing my voice all the time. So one thing had to go. I'll start again when I stop singing.
Otherwise you would have been facing early retirement then.
Oh yes. No, maybe this is a good idea.
Right, well, are you pleased with the new album? I'm pleased with it. I hope you're pleased with it.
I am. We took a long time. Albums don't just sort of come out. You sort of take a year just to write the songs and from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's also a case that when you've made kind of landmark albums like Mush and Minx, people regard them as being landmarks, don't they, in some way? So does it make kind of the follow-up all the more difficult?
You've got it in your mind all the time. You've got that's your reference point, and you have to do better. Whether you do is another question altogether, but to us, we think we've done better.
Right. Were you actually worried about the critical side of things? I mean, are you worried about critical acclaim, or is it just important to you just to be able to be satisfied within yourself that it's a good album?
If critical acclaim mattered, then I wouldn't be doing what I do. I do it for me, and if someone else likes it, then that's good. If you can't take criticism in music, then don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't judge anything by what someone thinks of what I do. If you don't like it, you don't buy it. If you like it, that's the way it works. I like it.
But you still obviously you prefer it if people do actually like you, obviously.
Well, it's up to them.
Yeah,
really.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, of course, you like people to like what you do, but I stopped a long time ago. Stopped reading the music press because you would kill yourself.
Right, you're going to play a song for us live now.
Yeah,
and it's something you've done on and off, isn't it? Acoustic sessions. You've played a few live concerts in Hamburg, haven't you, as well?
Yeah.
Is it something you feel happy with?
I don't know. I prefer playing in a band because you're not so exposed. But I like doing it. Yeah.
Right. So
you can make mistakes, and just it doesn't matter because it's only you playing.
Yeah. Well, this is a punk rock show anyway, you see, so you're allowed to make mistakes.
There will be some.
And it's going to be Secondhand Suit, is that right?
Yeah, Secondhand Suit.
Okay.
Go anywhere, you don't say anything, you pretend not to care about anything, you don't like my long hair, it's not worth washing, you don't want to care about that book you took off with, second-hand suits, dirty old boots. You believe everything that comes out of a book, and you find the right time wherever you bury your head, and instead of finding it out for yourself, you live the right time for it. At first everything glows bright as first light, and as the heat seeker knows, he has one chance to follow you with the funny clothes. What were you thinking of? You with the crooked smile. One day you'll be in style, you'll be in style. There's a look so straight-laced that says my forehead is all over my face, and you look, you mistook, says it all, I'm afraid. An happy moonshine, nothing like wine, the very best that'll make you blind. You live your life without the gift of sight.
Right, thank you. Is there actually ever going to be an acoustic album, do you think, then?
I don't know.
You're going to wait for MTV to approach you?
Yeah, I want orchestras and, everything. So it's unlikely to happen.
Do you still regard yourself in Leatherface as being, in a sense, an enemy to the mainstream? But do you regard yourself as being outsiders as such? Or do you think that picture in your mind has kind of mellowed over the years?
I think we're outsiders just because we don't fit in to any mainstream thing. We don't do what record companies would expect of their bands, really. I mean, this is normal band thing, but I'm not here for publicity, really. It's because you asked me.
It seems to me that the new album is a logical step. I mean, it's obviously there's a big difference between this album and Minx and the album before that, Mush. I mean, it seems like you're maturing in a very natural way. I mean, is it something you haven't had to think about? You just...
Oh, we never think about it. It's just you think about the structures of the songs, and but it's got to feel natural. And if a structure of a song isn't right, then you can tell it isn't. It's so that bit is not meant to be in there. So it's it's got to feel natural, and then everything's okay in the world.
Right. I do get the impression, though, that you're maybe not quite as tough in your stance as you used to be. Do you think that's the case?
How do you mean tough? By harder?
Yeah, kind of like it's still abrasive if you compare it to Cliff Richard, but obviously
always.
It's always abrasive. But nonetheless, there is a certain kind of... I mean, mellow would be an exaggerated term to use, but there's something just somewhat more... maybe reflective, mature about it, or do you reckon?
It may be. I mean, I've never analysed actually what I sing about. Sitting there and sort of, picking yourself to bits isn't... I don't think it's healthy. Just do what you feel and hope it entertains people, though.
Right. The next song we're going to hear, Watching You Sleep, I think is certainly one of the highlights of the album. And I think it kind of confirms what I've just been saying, but I don't know.
It's the band's favourite song.
Oh, right. Okay.
Everyone gets to have a sing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone sings along.
Right. So it's a family affair.
Yeah.
A family party affair.
Yeah.
Right, you come from Sunderland, don't you, as opposed to coming from Newcastle?
Yeah.
And it's very important to differentiate between the two.
It's extremely important. Yeah.
And there aren't many bands who've come from Sunderland. You said that Curve apparently came from...
Curve, well, the singer, Tony Halliday, came from Sunderland.
Do you actually think it's an advantage that you come from an area which hasn't been all that productive over the years? When you came from Manchester, maybe you would have been tempted to copy the Charlatans, or... You know what I mean? Coming from where you come from, is it probably easy to be original? I don't know.
Well, there was a sound from Manchester. But Sunderland's never had one. I'm sure a lot of bands went along with that sound because that's what... See, it's a record company's... it's what record companies do. They pick a sound and not everything comes after it. They try to do it with Sunderland. I mean, like Kinnicky are from Sunderland. So they try, that indie... The girly indie thing, which was big for a while there, You
didn't feel tempted to copy that then?
No, I couldn't really. They still owe me a drink anyway. So we're not talking about them. And we forget the toy dolls as well. There's a lot. There's a lot. He tried to go the Kinnicky route. Olga, he tried the girly pop. He sings a little like a girl, But
yeah. It's the case, of course, in many places, not just in England, but over here as well, that people tend to regard themselves as belonging to a scene of some sort. And you just said before that you consider yourselves to be outsiders or whatever, but I mean, have you ever actually been in any kind of scene at all where there's kind of been any kind of ligging going on and parties and people exchanging ideas? Because it can be quite a natural thing in a way. It doesn't have to be necessarily a corrupt thing, people just having a few drinks together and exchanging ideas, you know what I mean?
You end up in the same place, like, quite a lot of the time. Like, if you play a Reading festival, you end up with all the bands, because you're all backstage. You do end up, going around together, few drinks, few few laughs, things like this. But it's not necessarily a sign. It's just the situation you're in. If you're in a room with people, I don't know whether it's leaking.
Yeah.
I've never gone up and talked to someone because they are blah blah from whoever.
No, right.
Blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, as if
Maybe I should take it up. I was just thinking there. Yeah, that's where I've gone wrong. Be a party animal.
Well, that's right.
I'm a party animal, but I'm usually by myself. So if there's anyone wants to party with me, they can.
And then you can nick some of his ideas then.
Well, of course. Yeah. If you've got any more ideas.
Was it the case when this album actually started to be kind of created, right at the word go, did you actually think it was like exactly the right moment to do so? Because I mean, you kind of split up for a few years, and there was this kind of a sort of a reunion, but you weren't quite sure how it was going to carry on, whether it was going to carry on. But did you actually get to a stage where you think, well, now I'm 100% convinced this is now the right thing to do?
Oh yeah. I mean, we did it. With me, I never wanted to do the long tours again, so we do short tours. But we went. First thing we did was go to America for 2 months, and
for a short tour.
We played every day. Played every day, and the one day we had off was driving through Texas, all day, and you're still in Texas, and we had a really good time, and I don't think I ever had a good time. I had momentary periods, but that whole tour was like, that's really good. This. So you can't fault it.
Right.
Let's have a good time.
Right, we're going to hear another song from the Horsebox album now, Lorry Driver's Son, one of my favourites. You didn't mention it, so it's not one of your favourites, I presume, but you don't disapprove of it.
I only mentioned 3, and you said that you didn't like 1, so I'll let you get on with it.
Okay, so here's Lorry Driver's Son, Phenom album, Horsebox, Font, Leatherface. Are you actually aware of the fact that you've got a lot of people into punk who wouldn't normally be into punk?
Not aware at all. No, it's my fault.
It's your fault,
you're blaming me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, it's true, because I've spoken to quite a few people, listeners to my programme as well, who've said that they've never really listened to that kind of music before, but there's something melodic about what you do. There's a kind of sensitivity to it, which they find appealing. People who usually listen to very kind of wispy and twee sort of music, like the Sarah label or something like that. And for some reason, you seem to be the exception that proves the rule for them.
I have met quite a few people who have no interest in noisy music at all, apart from us. I don't know what that says though.
It's weird, isn't it? Must be some special gift.
They're
you
like
have.
Phil Collins and us, and that's it. Yeah. How?
You got no decent explanation.
No,
I thought you
none
would have
whatsoever,
been lying
no.
awake at night worrying about it.
No, we have dentists, and you don't know. You probably don't know Jeremy Paxman.
No.
He does a real highbrow late night news programme on BBC Two in England, and he sort of interviews, prime ministers and these people. And he did an interview where he said we were his favourite band. Now that's just it's impossible.
Because, I mean, you could actually build on that, couldn't you? If you carry on playing acoustic songs, then you could appeal to more and more Phil Collins fans.
No, I mean...
and alienate yourself from your punk... Yeah.
The Phil Collins fans have never heard the acoustic stuff.
No,
it's
not,
not,
of course
not.
No.
It's not released.
Yeah, that's what you should build on that. You've got a whole new market to look for now.
No.
All right, well, we'll get on with it. You're going to play another acoustic song now. Yeah. It's a song which appears on the split album with Hot Water Music, isn't it?
It is. It's called Wax Lyrical, and I have to try and remember the first line.
Right, okay.
Hang on. Right. Shall I do it now?
Off you go.
I've got the first line.
Warm-blooded stereotype, bell and faults, and that are birthright. Be brash, bold and beautiful, but clear and cold, cold and tight. Was lyrical. Move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth and move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth to move your face and open your heart. I'd be moaned rather than be phoned. And I'm as happy here as I would be over there. My hair is beyond repair. We can look, but you just don't stare. It's lyrical. Open your mouth and move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth to move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth to move your face and open your heart. Warm-blooded stereotype, building fuss, that of bird right. Lyrical, lyrical. Open your mouth and move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth and move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth and move your face and open your heart if that's for surgery. And open your mouth and move your face and open your heart.
Great. I thought you were worried it was going to kind of fall to pieces.
Did you not
That sounded
hear it?
very fluent, I thought. Yeah.
Oh, I did my best. It did fall to pieces, I promised.
Is it really important to you that this new album is successful, or would you prefer kind of, if you had to make the choice, would you prefer Sunderland to be really successful in the Premier League? You know.
Yeah, I want Sunderland. I want Sunderland to do well. At the expense of Horsebox, it would make a lot more people happy.
Okay. Has it? Do you think that there's in any sense in your mind, in some way, like a connection between your enthusiasm for football and your enthusiasm for music? Do you think it just comes down to just like the basic primal instinct? Do you think?
I'm sort of in a sort of a period of anti-football at the minute. I think the media's been saturated. I don't know what it's like here, but in England you just can't get away from it. It's 24 hours a day, and all the talk about is like Manchester United or someone. You know, the smaller teams just never. It's just like music, you know. But people talk about the really big band, but the smaller bands are just, you know, completely forgotten about.
Right.
It's very similar, and it's one of the few things, the two things you can make. You could become very rich from coming from very little. You know, you can make you can be a millionaire from music, probably boxing as well. Right. If you come from nothing, you can be very good at something. You know, you don't need any formal. I don't think you need formal education in any of them, really. They are similar.
Do you still feel the same kind of enthusiasm for the music as you did in the early days, or is it a different kind of enthusiasm now? Does it actually change its form in a way, do you think?
The best part about writing a song is when you just finish it, when you go, right, it's finished, and you're just so happy, and then you got to do another one, and you back down. But as long as it feels like that when I finish a song, then as long as it keeps feeling like that when I finish a song, then I'll keep writing them. It's like a high like you can't get.
Right, and that stayed the same over the years as well. Yeah. Right, and Soundbites was one of those moments for you then when you felt that the world is a good place and everything seems to fit into place. And
yeah, and the thing is though, immediately it's sort of like you come down, you have to write the next one, and it's like up and down, without drugs.
Right,
you're up when you're down, you're up when you're down, and then the album's finished, and you're really, really happy. But then you just come down, you got to do another one.
You got to worry about the next album then, yeah. And if you carry on like this, you can basically carry on forever, really, can't you? I mean, if the next albums are as good as this, then we can look forward to a long career for Leatherface. Don't you think?
The next one's worse, like if the next one's the worst thing you've ever heard, this, you can only go down or up.
Right.
So
okay. So you're actually emotionally well prepared for a dry phase.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, I don't worry about. I do it when I want it, when I want to do it. So dry doesn't exist. It's just like I put it down as not wanting to do it rather than a dry phase.
Right. Okay. Because you might start smoking again.
No, only when I stop singing. Start smoking when I stop singing. Yeah.
Right.
I look forward to it. It'll be a few years.
All right. Right, we're going to finish off quite selfishly with my favourite song off the album, right, Kill DJs. I hope you're not talking about radio DJs here, but...
maybe some radio DJs, yeah. Some we'll let live, but the majority, we have to kill them, really.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming down.
You're welcome.
And look forward to the tour. You're going to be playing this year, aren't you?
Yeah, it's April, May, I think.
Right, okay. April oder Mai kommt Leatherface dann wieder nach Norddeutschland, da können wir uns freuen. Immer sehr spannende Konzerte von Leatherface. Wir hören jetzt zum Schluss Kill DJs. Und das war Offbeat Avenue 4 mit Paul Baskerville. Mein Studiogast heute war Frankie Stubbs von Leatherface und ich wünsche euch eine gute Nacht. Tschüss.